The crew spots a flyer for the Dragonspine International Cross-Country Challenge. It sounds like the ultimate main character moment, promising competitors from literally everywhere. The energy is giving pure chaotic good, and honestly, the squad decides they absolutely need to pull up and see what the hype is about. Amber is spotted living her best life on duty, but she almost misses the arrival because she is yapping away with Hines. It is a wholesome reunion, but she is actually working the event security. The whole setup is massive, and Amber is basically running the logistics like a girl boss while keeping the vibes immaculate. The tea is spilled on how this event is actually happening. It is a collaboration between the Knights and Springville folks, which is a rare crossover episode. Amber explains that they have international guests, including a team from Natlan. She describes a pink-haired foodie and a girl with a fluffy tail, which sounds suspiciously familiar. Amber continues describing the Natlan squad, and it is honestly hilarious because she is talking about them like they are mythical creatures. One eats with zero hesitation, and the other has a tail that Amber is obsessed with. The crew realizes they definitely know who she is talking about, and the realization hits different. The crew pulls up to the campsite and finds Alani having a total breakdown about her thesis. She is literally on the floor, entering her flop era because academic burnout is real. She begs everyone not to mention her work, which is the most relatable content ever for anyone who has ever had a deadline. The plot thickens when the group starts talking about comic books. It turns out this whole gathering is basically a fan club meetup for the Soulblazers saga. They start dropping lore and quotes like they are in a Discord server, and the passion is actually kind of infectious, even if it is a bit cringe. The enthusiasm was a bit much, so they dial it back. Alani explains that the group is just really into this specific comic series from Inazuma. They are basically stans who formed a club called the Legion of Soulblazers. It is giving parasocial relationship, but in a wholesome way where they just support each other. They head over to the training grounds because the grind never stops. They find Vanessa and Minnie working out in the freezing cold. It is impressive dedication, but also touch grass maybe. The dynamic shifts as they prepare to do introductions, and the social battery is getting recharged for another round of meeting new people. The reunion is chaotic. Vanessa realizes her earlier introduction was super extra and maybe a bit embarrassing. She admits she was just hyped to meet Minnie in real life after being pen pals. It is that classic internet friend meetup energy where things are awkward for 5 seconds before everyone remembers they are besties. Xilonen reveals she is basically just here for the vibes and to buy merch for her relative back home. She somehow got roped into being vice captain, which is peak accidental leadership. She is trying to play it cool, but everyone knows she is actually the mom friend of the group keeping things running. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. Minnie has a total fangirl moment when she realizes who the Traveler is. Her brother apparently spilled the tea about the Traveler's exploits, so she sees them as a real-life comic hero. She starts asking for story time immediately, treating the interaction like an exclusive podcast interview about their wildest adventures. The conversation gets deep when Minnie admits she wants to travel, but feels like she is not built for it. She compares herself to the Traveler and feels inadequate, which is classic imposter syndrome. The crew has to step in with the pep talk, telling her to trust the process and stop doom-scrolling through her own anxieties. They shift gears to nutrition, and the food list is absolutely unhinged. They suggest a meal plan that would put a mukbang streamer to shame. The idea is to eat massive amounts of food to fuel the training, but the sheer volume of carbs and protein mentioned is enough to induce a food coma just by listening. The scene cuts to the comic book content itself, showing the fictional hero fighting a monster. It is a classic shonen setup where the power of friendship and determination saves the day. The writing is cheesy, but you can see why the fan club is so obsessed with it. It hits all the right emotional beats. Back in reality, the group discusses the comic's themes. Veressa explains that it is based on real history, but dramatized for entertainment. They talk about how the main character never gives up, which is clearly the emotional crutch for the whole group. It is their comfort media that helps them cope with their actual problems. The Traveler and Paimon get officially recruited into the fan club. Veressa makes it a whole ceremony because she is extra like that. The requirement is basically just to vibe with the group and share the joys of life. It is surprisingly wholesome, turning a niche hobby into a genuine support network for everyone involved. They have to recite the club creed, and it is a full theatrical performance. They shout about championing love and imagination, which is high-key embarrassing but also liberating. It is that moment where you embrace the cringe to be free. They are officially initiated, and the bond is cemented through shared shouting at the sky. The group decides to do actual physical training. Paimon immediately opts out because physical exertion is not her brand. The rest of the squad splits into groups to run the course. Xilonen and Minnie take the chill route, while the others decide to go full try-hard mode on the mountain tracks. On the track, Minnie is struggling but refuses to quit. She reveals the stakes. She made a deal with her parents. If she ranks in this race, they have to take her career dreams seriously. It is a high-pressure situation, and you can tell she is fighting for her life and her future right now. Minnie explains that her parents think art is a waste of time and want her to get a real job. It is the classic boomer versus creative conflict. She feels misunderstood and treated like a child. The race is her one shot to prove she is capable, adding a layer of serious angst to this fun event. The training continues, and the course is actually dangerous. There are pits and icy patches everywhere. They spot a shortcut that involves jumping a gap, which is risky behavior but could save time. They are strategizing like pro gamers, trying to optimize their route while not falling off the literal mountain. After training, they head to the city and hit up the library. Minnie is surprisingly knowledgeable about the place, revealing it is her safe space. She talks about reading scrolls back home and how that translated to comics. It shows how libraries are basically the original community centers for introverts to gather and geek out together. Xilonen sees a comfortable chair and immediately decides to nap. Her ability to sleep anywhere is honestly a superpower. While everyone else is looking for books, she enters hibernation mode. It is a mood because sometimes social interaction is exhausting, and you just need to recharge the battery in the middle of a public space. A conversation sparks up about collecting merch and how expensive it is. They bond over the pain of buying overpriced plastic figures because they look cool. It is a call-out to consumer culture, but they admit they are willing victims because the dopamine hit from getting new collectibles is just too good to resist. The group hits a restaurant and orders an obscene amount of food. Veressa is clearing plates like a vacuum cleaner. They discuss comic quotes while eating, proving that their obsession never takes a break. The energy is high, fueled by massive calorie intake, and the joy of finding people who understand your specific brain rot. Minnie has another wobble about her artistic talent. She feels like she is not good enough and considers quitting. The group rallies around her again, explaining that passion is not a straight line. It is about consistency and love for the craft, not just raw talent. It is a genuinely sweet therapy session over dinner. The vibe is killed instantly when Minnie's brother, Fatenna, shows up. He reprimands her for being gone too long, and then the parents arrive. It is a full ambush. The parents are furious and start lecturing her in front of her friends, which is the ultimate nightmare scenario for anyone trying to be independent. The parents drop the bomb that this is her last competition. They are gaslighting her, saying they support her while actively shutting down her dreams. They cite health concerns, but it is clearly about control. Minnie tries to defend herself, but they shut her down. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a claymore. Xilonen decides she has had enough of this toxicity. She intervenes with a masterstroke, a letter and a giant painting from Minnie's fans back in Natlan. She proves that Minnie's art has value, effectively checkmating the parents' argument that her hobby is worthless. It is a boss move that shifts the power dynamic instantly. The parents finally crack under the logic. They realize their daughter actually has a following and that her art brings people joy. They agree to respect the deal. If she ranks, she can travel. It is a grudging acceptance, but a win is a win. The emotional weight lifts and Minnie gets her shot. It is finally race day, but disaster strikes. Agong is sick with a fever and cannot run. The team is down a member right before the start gun. They panic for a second before realizing the traveler can sub in. It is a classic clutch moment where the protagonist has to save the run. The referee introduces the teams and the competition is stacked. The Soulblazers are nervous but hyped. The race starts and it is chaos. They are running, passing batons and pushing their limits. The description of the race is intense, with everyone trying to hit their personal bests while navigating the treacherous snowy terrain. Minnie is on the final leg and killing it, but she spots an injured competitor off course. She faces the ultimate moral dilemma: finish the race to win her freedom, or stop to help. Being a true hero, she sacrifices her lead to save the guy. It is a heartbreaking but noble choice that defines her character. Because she stopped, the team loses the podium. However, the organizers give them a special award for sportsmanship. The parents, seeing this integrity, decide to let her travel anyway. They realize character matters more than a trophy. It is the wholesome ending everyone deserved, proving that good karma actually exists sometimes. Yai Miko pops up at the end like a fairy godmother of publishing. She hears about the fan club and donates a bunch of rare first edition comics. The group sets up a little library at their camp. It is the perfect epilogue, celebrating the community they built and the stories that brought them together. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.